Welcome back to Caring Out Loud, a podcast for carers by carers.
You know us by now, but just in case you don't, I'm Susie and this is Cullen.
Today we're going to look at why it is important for carers to let others know that they are caring.
If you're not sure you're a carer, if you haven't already, you might want to listen to episode 1 as we look at what it means to be a carer. So Cullen, in your role as a support worker for carers, why do you think it's important for others like professionals such as doctors to know when someone is a carer?
Great question. It's important to let people know because they can help to just put the nail on the head. Without letting people know, they won't understand us and they're therefore unable to help without seeing the broader picture. You know, as carers, it's not just the cared for person, there's you in it too. So letting people like friends, family, doctors, whoever it is know, can expand your network then.
I feel it's a case sometimes of hitting them on the head with it because whenever I phoned up the doctors or I phoned up anywhere about my husband, they've always had to say to me, is he there? Can we speak to him? Can we check? And it could be anybody, but you know, he says, yeah, I'm a carer. But, it's all right to speak to her. But I find that I'm not taken seriously, that they always have to check to make, even when I say I'm my husband's carer, they have to check up on me.
I think that's a really good point actually, because there is a formality to these things, especially in the modern world. Things want to be identified and put into the system that way, so as sort of annoying and as formal as that sounds, it does help us as carers by having the system, so to speak, register you as a carer.
We also sat down with Vicky from Universal Services for Carers. We started by asking Vicky why it's important for carers to inform others about their caring role.
Well, because sometimes people don't realise that they are a carer. That's something that we hear all the time, in fairness. That we perhaps speak to someone, they'll say, oh, well, it was the doctor that told me that I'm a carer, or it was, the social prescriber. People don't always know. And it is important that people are aware that when somebody is doing that care role, because they can just easily get lost in the system. They cannot get the support that is out there that people desperately need. They are doing something. Their role is it's vital and it's so important, and they don't always get the support that is out there. A lot of carers we speak to don't know that there's social prescribers, they don't know there's local area coordinators, LACs, LACs, they don't realise that there are these people and services out there. There's lots of others. There's the Alzheimer's Society. There's individual support groups out there that can be accessed that people just are not aware of. And that's why it's important that they start to reach out and they start to get this information from us, and then they can access these services. And it is just it's vital for their role. They can register with their own GP as a carer. This could enable them to get access to appointments that are easier and more convenient for them once the GP knows. Once the surgery knows that they are a carer, they can start to fit around them a little bit better. That's what we always suggest. And they can hopefully get joint appointments, they can get maybe home appointments. But if the GP is not aware of that, this is just one example, if that surgery is not aware, they don't know to offer that. They don't know that carer might need that little bit extra support. So that's just one example why it's so important that carers do reach out and say to people, well, I am a carer, I care for whoever it is, and I will need support with this. They have a voice that is important, and we hope that we make them that we let them know that. The other thing is with GP surgeries, they quite often know about different services and groups that other people don't know about. Maybe things that are just starting up, a service that's just starting, they will know about it quite often before anybody else does. So if they've got a list of people that are registered as carers, they can then easily let them know, hey, did you know about this service? Do you think it might be good for you? Do you think it might benefit you? And again, then the carer's being informed rather than just sitting there thinking, well, what is there out there? I don't know of anything. So it is very important. That is just one example of the GP surgery. There's lots of other services out there that carers don't know about, and they really should.
We also asked Vicky for anyone who is listening who is new to caring or haven't told anyone that they're carers, what's one small step that they could take today?
They could have a chat with their GP. They can obviously contact us. Depends what services or professionals are already on board. So sometimes adult social care's got involved. They generally refer carers straight to us anyway. But they're the first things really is, have a conversation with your GP. Contact us. If you don't feel comfortable contacting us directly, you can get referred into us by several different ways. Not everyone's digital, not everybody can refer themselves online. So a phone call in, if you don't want to leave a message, then go and ask your social prescriber. Maybe could have a chat. Maybe a friend or family member could contact us on their behalf. That's absolutely fine. So there are lots of ways that you can reach out. And we are so approachable. We really are a friendly bunch. And when I say our main priority is carers, I 100% mean it. I can't tell you how passionate we all are about our roles. It's just something that we've all come into this job for one reason, and that one reason is because we want to help anyone. And sometimes the more complex the case, we just keep digging until we find the answer for that person. And if we don't know that answer, we invariably know somebody that does. We can, refer you into a different service. We can signpost you over to someone. We've got great relationships with so many services out there and professionals. We know of so many different things. And we've got lists and lists of different places, different people that we found out about, and we save all this information, and then when we speak to carers we can pass it on, because it's all about passing that knowledge on. It's got to be for anything to work. So yeah, please do contact us. We would love to hear from any carer out there, really.
Thanks ever so much to Vicky from Universal Services for Carers. Cullen, Vicky spoke a lot about how telling your GP that you're a carer can help. But can you think of any other examples of where telling someone you're a carer might help?
Yeah, I think so. As we've said, talking to professionals is important. It's going to link you up. In my opinion, the best thing you can do is think about, in your circle of friends and family, who do you trust to talk through it with? Because it shouldn't be undervalued having... You're not asking them to step into your shoes. You're not asking them to help. You're looking for that friend who can be your mirror and listen to you.
Do you know, this actually rings true with me, because all my family, they all know that Steve's got Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see me as a carer, I don't think, because he's still okay. But I've never said to them, I'm Steve's carer. I've never actually had that conversation with them. I just assume they know.
And no one can give that to you, but as a carer support worker, this is probably one of the most common things I hear. I'm a carer like you, Susie, for my family member, and I've got other people in the family around me, but I don't want to burden them with it. I don't like to tell them what's going on, and that's really natural in my opinion, but I truly believe this. There may be someone outside the circle of family, inside your friends, I don't know who they are, but that person can be invaluable for you, to let them see, actually, this is really hard for me. Yeah. There's bits in my life that are hidden.
Just as I didn't acknowledge that I was a carer, I don't think people around me, my close family, acknowledge that I'm a carer. They just see me as Steve's wife, who's got Alzheimer's.
Do you know, the burden really is on carers, isn't it? Because not only are we doing these things, not only are we having to navigate a brilliant but janky system, we're also now having to explain to our closest, nearest and dearest loved ones that I'm going through this thing. You can see what's going on for our cared for person. You can see that they're being supported by these, whoever it is, a physio or a doctor. But here's the person supporting them, going through it, and we can become invisible. And to tell everyone what they know, if you don't tell that person what you're going through, they'll never know. And they'll always see you as you, and they'll just it takes a special person to jump in, and you're lucky if they jump in. You're going to have to invite them in. That's what I'm trying to say.
Drag them in.
Drag them in if you need to be. And maybe it's not everyone. In my opinion, in my experience, I quickly learned there's people I love in my family who I'm not going to talk to about how I'm feeling, what I'm going through, because they're going to try and make it easy and solve it. really you just need someone's ear who can see you and you feel comfortable to let them in. It won't change things, but it'll mean so much to you, and it'll build, in my experience, it expands. Even if it's tokenistic once a month.
Yeah.
They check in, Susie, how are you actually doing? And these kind of conversations we're imagining don't happen in one go. They'll happen incrementally. And you are really the pilot of it. Maybe it's like some people, it's everything at once. Sometimes it's going to be drip fed. My opinion is totally let people in. You never know what they're going to bring to the table. I've definitely seen some families that I've maybe known for a year, and at the beginning you're talking to a carer who's quite isolated but has people around them who don't really know, and maybe a year later those people that have been around them now are more clued up, and it helps.
I'll tell you something.
People will step up, hopefully, when you
know,
let them
like
know.
we go on holiday together and we do stuff together, and unless Steve's got his lanyard on, if you saw Steve, you wouldn't know he had Alzheimer's. So if you don't know he's got Alzheimer's, you don't know that I'm his carer. And I don't feel comfortable telling complete strangers Steve's got Alzheimer's. You know, so from that point of view, people don't realise that I'm a carer, and they don't realise, you know. So I tend to find when I'm on holiday, you know, like when I meet people, I tell them on the quiet, Steve's got Alzheimer's. I don't ever announce it in front of him. And I don't know whether I feel that because he'd feel uncomfortable, if there's a stigma, and I don't know why I don't do that, but I tend to tell people quietly.
Makes sense to me. Because what I'm talking about is your nearest and dearest finding maybe a person, or if you're lucky more than one, but this is in our private networks of family and friends. So I understand out in public, I wouldn't want, you know, I'm being silly, but like a flag saying, hi, I'm a carer.
Yeah.
You were going to want to have that normality, you know, you don't want everyone to know.
Well, it's not I'm a carer, it's telling people that he has Alzheimer's. That's the thing I find difficult. When I don't find it difficult telling people when he's not there. But when he's there, I can't say Steve's got Alzheimer's. I just feel like I'm labelling him, and you know, he knows he's got Alzheimer's. I haven't got to remind him. So I don't know.
It's private, isn't it? You know, not everyone needs to know. Do you know what's just come to mind for me, Susie? And for me, it's in this part of our conversation and a bit earlier. A massive reason, I wish I'd said this earlier, to tell people is to protect your loved one.
Yeah.
Because I heard you earlier say, I'll whisper it, which is protecting it from his ears. Because not everyone needs to know he's got Alzheimer's, but if you can say it privately, that's a protection. And like you said with that group, by informing people, it helps explain behaviours that might to others look, well, why are they doing that kind of thing? But if there's an understanding behind why, it helps people maybe look at it completely different. Oh, maybe that person's having a moment where someone going over and saying, how are you? The arm around the shoulder, come with us kind of thing, you know. That's love and protection.
Well, we've come to the end of the episode, amazingly. Anything you want to add to that, Cullen?
No, I think we chewed through it pretty well.
I think we did. Yeah, I really do.
Don't forget, we have lots of information in the text that goes alongside this episode, including links to support services and where to find out more information about those local groups and carers support services.
Thanks for listening, and in case you didn't know, this is Caring Out Loud, a podcast by carers for carers. Thank you.
Thank you.